One of the big challenges of landscape photography is its fleeting nature. So often we're waiting for that one perfect moment of great light and the right natural situation. But what if I told you there's a place where the light is always soft and the landscape's always dramatic? Here on the Faroe Islands, there are days you can shoot landscape photography for 12 straight hours. Today was one of those days. Another wild, windy, wet morning here in the Faroe Islands, but the forecast is for it to clear, so we're gonna go explore. Woo! So the weather's definitely better over on this side, but it's crazy. Literally just back that way, we're getting hammered by rain, and then up here, it's okay. And what I'm realizing on the Faroe Islands is that you kind of just need to shoot whenever you can. It doesn't matter if it's the middle of the day or sunset, sunrise. You just need to shoot because you never know the next time you're gonna get light. You never know the next time you're gonna even be able to get the camera out of your bag without getting it soaked. So it's about 3 in the afternoon, which is like 9 hours until sunset. And we're going to photograph this waterfall that Mike and I scouted on day 2 here in the Faroe Islands. So middle of the day, and we're gonna do some landscape photography. The other day when we came here, the tides were rising and the seas were really rough, so we didn't go down at all. We shot from right here. There was also way more water coming from the waterfall, but with the seas really calm like they are right now, I think we might risk it a little bit more and get a little bit lower down to the water just to have a little bit better of a foreground and a different shot than the other day. So if we're looking for positives from the fact that I smashed my 6-stop ND like I did yesterday, it's that I'm forcing myself to use the 10-stop ND, which I never, ever use. I think probably 50–60% of my shots are with a 6-stop ND, so it's a bit of a battle not having it. But I have the 10-stop ND on now in the middle of the day, and the way the light is, it's kind of gonna work, I think, because it's almost like a natural vignette in this frame with some light hitting the peaks, and it's very bright in the middle, and then it's dark all the way around the edges. So I think the 10-stop will just accentuate that. I'm shooting f11 and 2 minutes to make it happen. I think I might have to bump all the way to 4 minutes, but we'll see how this turns out. Okay, exposure's done, and actually it's overexposed. So I might punch this up another stop and go f16. Okay, here's the thing, and here's the reason why I don't often use the 10-stop ND. It's just because often it's way too much, and unless the cloud situation is perfect and you have the right clouds for it, it just whitewashes the entire sky and you don't see any definition. And that's what's happening, and I'm gonna kind of cheat and turn this 10-stop ND into like an 8-stop ND by just bumping my ISO to 400. And yeah, it's not ideal, it's definitely not an ideal situation, but it's what we're gonna have to do today. In the end, I think I got a photo here I like. I definitely preferred this location when the tide was high, so who knows, maybe over the next 3 days we still have left here, we'll be back at high tide. It's still really early. Sunset's still like 7–8 hours away, so we're gonna go find more locations to shoot. The photography continues on the Faroe Islands. We drove back to Vágur, the island that has the airport on it, because the weather was supposed to be best here, and we got here and it's fog, absolutely covered and fog. And this was supposed to be the best light, apparently, but we're gonna make the most of it because I think fog kind of works with this area. There's all these boat houses that have the grass covered roofs down here, and there's some boats on the water, and I think even handheld there's definitely some shots to be had here, maybe some minimalist sort of stuff, and I think this is gonna work out. So I'm looking for down here is simplicity. I'm looking for maybe just one boathouse out on the water, and I thought I found it down that way, but it's closed off with a fence, so it's definitely private. It's proving harder to find than I would hope. I did get one shot, I think, already that I like. But when it's foggy like this, less is more. You're trying to find one single thing to put in a frame, really go minimalist with it. So, gonna keep searching down this way, and yeah, I guess hopefully find something. This kind of goes back to what I was talking about yesterday too, or the day before. When you have bad weather, it doesn't mean there's not an image. Just because you're not getting that epic colorful light doesn't mean there's not a photo. There's always, always, always a photo. You just sometimes have to work for it. When I planned this trip, I didn't think we'd be driving very much. I thought we'd have the location scouted, we'd shoot something late afternoon, something for sunset after dinner, and then something for sunrise. But because the weather's just been so miserable and wild, we've been running around chasing locations. So basically the location we shot earlier today was on the other side of this fjord and on the other side of this mountain. Then we drove all the way to where the airport is, about an hour away, and it was foggy. Shot that location and drove all the way back here because it wasn't foggy here, and it might be the only place tonight on all of the Faroe Islands that isn't foggy. So we probably put in like almost 300 kilometers of driving today, which is ridiculous, absolutely crazy. And yeah, we are getting shots though. We are making some images, and at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. One of the locations we want to try to shoot is up the top of this fjord. There's like a road that twists up there and gets to a village. And there may be a viewpoint from the very top that looks straight down the fjord. And the fog is still kind of a big deal, but it's breaking a little bit in there, and there might be some cool light down the fjord. So I think we're gonna bail on this spot here and go try that out. So we might never might never make it to the top of the viewpoint because we're distracted by something we haven't seen the entire trip, which is really, really good light. We're at this town that we accidentally came to because we went the wrong direction. And there's this really cool looking village down here, lots of grass roof houses, this beautiful mountain or hill or whatever you want to call it, and then light. Finally, some light catching these clouds. Finally. So we got one more photo location we want to try to hit up before it gets too dark tonight, and it's a bit of a, no, it's not a bit of a, it's a very Instagram-y classic photo from up above this fjord, looking down across it. There's still a little bit of light in the sky. It's very hazy. We're getting hit with occasional gusts of fog, but we're gonna go try to make an image. We made it to of this viewpoint, and this viewpoint is epic. It is amazing, but it's a hard thing to photograph because no matter how I shoot it, it looks really flat. So we lost the light, but we kind of still want to like look around and check things out. It's one of those scenarios, it's like you don't always need to take the picture. Just because you get to a location doesn't mean you have to shoot it. That being said, I would love to shoot something here. I just cannot, for the life of me, come up with a composition that I'm pleased with. I'm right on the edge of, yeah, definitely right on the edge of the cliff here, and maybe potentially a really wide angle who sat on the edge of this cliff would be cool. But even then, everything just seems, when you're standing here, there's this epicness around you. This is unreal to be here, and the photos don't really show that. So, like I said, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get the picture. I might try one composition here, but if not, no big deal. Still a beautiful sight. My boy John's a little bit scared of heights, but he's going to the cliff edge. Oh shit. No swearing, this is a family show.
Sorry, demonetized. Sorry, right here? No, further.
You gotta go right in between those rocks.
A little bit more.
You got it?
I'll stand with you if you want. Oh my god. Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't step on that rock.
Don't stand out, we're just water here.
Just took an hour and a half break. It's now 3 in the morning, as you can tell by the fact that it's basically bright outside. And we're gonna try one last location today before we call it sleep time, which is a viewpoint up way above things. But judging by the wind, it might be a little bit wild up there. So for like the whole week we've been here, we've been calling this the Death Fjord, because when we first got here, when Mike first got here anyway, there was like water spouts and crazy winds, and the swell from the fjord was so high that it was actually coming across the road. It was insane. And every time we've driven this high road past it, you couldn't even see the fjord. And we said to ourselves, if it ever clears up, we're gonna go and try to shoot it, because it looks like there's a whoa! There's a lot of wind. Woo! We all just had to drop to our knees to avoid the wind there. Anyways, the Death Fjord is trying to live up to its name. And yeah, we've been saying for the whole time we've been here that as soon as we can, we're gonna try to shoot from the top of this waterfall straight down the fjord. So that's the plan if we don't get knocked off this thing. Whew. Like every 5 minutes or so, you just hear a howling. And then when the howling gets louder, we get hit with wind so strong that it almost knocks us over. Or in my case just now, it just knocked me over. We're at our location. This is what we wanted to shoot, with the river leading into Death Fjord, the Fjord of Death, but we're getting no light, and the rains are coming back in. We've basically been skunked on sunrise every single time here on the Faroe Islands, and I guess that's part of the process. But I'm still going to get my camera out, and I'm still gonna try to get one photo. Sadly, I know for the whole Faroe Islands trip, there's been spots all over this screen, so I'm sorry, but you can't control the weather out in the field. We're not gonna get any clear skies here. It seemed like we were, and then we definitely didn't. but I think I still managed an image that's cool. Hopefully the guys have an image that's cool as well, and I'm gonna call this an episode. The forecast tomorrow is better, but I've kind of given up hope on following forecasts here in the Faroes, but it's fun regardless. Now it's time to go get some sleep, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace!